Top 10 new and improved Ask Wendy on Wendy Williams Show. Fans all over the world love the new Wendy and the new energy after her split from Hunter. In this video, we've compiled a list of some of the best Ask Wendy questions. Watch until the end for the best answers given. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Let's get it going. 10. Mildred. Mildred told the audience and Wendy to mind their business when she was on the show to ask Wendy a question. Once it's on the show, it's everyone's business. Well, she broke up with her boyfriend after dating him for a little over a year. She hooked up with him a week before she went to the show, and the ex-boyfriend wanted to work things out.
Girl. So my ex and I broke up a month ago.
Ex-husband?
Boyfriend, no boyfriend.
How long were you together?
Just over a year.
Okay, do you have children?
No.
Okay.
We slept together a week ago.
Mildred wasn't interested in working things out because she wanted to try new guys. She intended to sleep around for at least 6 months but still hook up with her ex-boyfriend. Wendy advised Mildred that at 34, she needed to grow up a little and date fresh because there's a reason why she left the ex-boyfriend. Rob loved his boyfriend, but Nicki Minaj was interfering with their relationship. His boyfriend opened up a Twitter account for the Barbs and trolled Nicki haters with the profile. Wendy would have told him to leave him, but his boyfriend was in the audience, so she just told Rob to stay with him, but realized that the Barbs would probably be the boyfriend's priority. At some point in time, the children, especially college kids, become the parents, and a mom on the show wasn't an exception. 9. Tammy. Wendy was glad to meet her second grade teacher who only said beautiful things about her. Considering Wendy is 55, her second grade teacher looked terrific. She knew that the teacher was only trying to be polite because she knows she must have been a nuisance while in school. It was a great union after many years. Tammy was up next and she needed advice on how to handle her college daughter. She was all of a sudden bossy to her mom. Tammy's daughter told her mom after she left for the show that Madonna called and she wanted her outfit back. In all honesty though, the clothes and the Gucci headband was a little tacky. Wendy advised her not to listen to her daughter who was in the college phase, and college kids think they know everything. Also, Tammy pays her tuition and finances her upkeep, so her daughter's comments shouldn't get to her. Wendy may be done with Hunter, but the Hunter Foundation is still open to help anyone who may be suffering from any form of addiction. Okay, back to the questions and answers. 8. Kelly. Kelly, 26, and her 40-year-old boyfriend were doing fine, and she teased him about his age. He stepped up his game, and Kelly was unable to keep up in the bedroom. She asked Wendy what she'd do to keep up with her boyfriend. First of all, Wendy thought that she was too young for such an old man and should probably keep off heavy food before going to bed. Veronica. Veronica's childhood friend kept hooking up with losers even though she was aware that Veronica had a boyfriend. One time she hooked up with a man who doesn't take a shower. Veronica wanted to know how she could stop her friend from hooking her up. According to Wendy, that's a conversation she should have with her friend because it doesn't matter whether she likes her boyfriend or not.
Yeah.
Why don't you have this conversation with her? This sounds so fixable. She doesn't have to like your boyfriend. That's your boyfriend.
That's true.
Also, she might be a childhood friend, but it doesn't sound like you see her a whole lot.
T. Angela. T. Angela had a friend who always copied her style and her dress code, and she needed her to stop. Judging by her attitude, even Wendy knew she enjoyed having a copycat. She advised T. Angela to talk it out with her friend but use softer words, otherwise she'd make things worse. Sometimes it's better to remain friends because moving things to another level could cause unnecessary strains and drama. 7. Warren. Warren was approached by his college girlfriend who had decided to become a lesbian. Her partner was a mutual friend and they both asked Warren to be the father of their child. He was putting a life-changing decision on Wendy's hands and she told him not to be the father. Wendy also took a poll and the majority of her co-hosts believed he shouldn't father the child.
Do you want to? I'll get you a Q-tip. Don't dig in your eyes. How you doing?
Eileen. Eileen had met a new man and after going out for a few months, she invited him for dinner. She asked Wendy if it was too soon for her to jump in. Wendy told her that at 51, she was mature enough and she should go for it and have fun. Charlie. Charlie had a birthday coming up and she wanted to invite her brother, but he also had an annoying wife who caused a rift between her brother and the rest of the family. Charlie and her mom didn't want the wife at the party. Wendy told her to invite her brother and allow him to come with the wife, but they should drink a little bit more and assume her presence. People have different relationship deal breakers, but it reaches a certain point in age where one has to rethink their deal breakers. 6. Lola. For Lola, a relationship deal breaker was a man with kids, but at 36, many men around her age probably have kids. She was torn between staying sad and single and lowering her standards. Wendy told her that a man after 30 might be allowed to have a kid, and if he has 2 kids, they should be from the same woman. Morgan. Morgan and her fiancé were in a relationship for 9 years, but they hadn't thought of marriage. They had 2 children together and didn't want a third child. Morgan talked to her fiancé about getting a vasectomy, and he promised her he'd get snipped after their second child. But he was holding back. The only reason Wendy could give was that he was holding back in case their relationship didn't work out and he needed to start another family with someone else. Wendy answers most of the questions on Ask Wendy with ease, but when the problem hits so close to home, it may get challenging to answer. 5. Ebony. Ebony had a son with her ex, and he had a daughter with another woman. His new girlfriend wanted to tattoo both children's names on herself.
I have a 3-year-old with my ex, and he has a new girlfriend, and they have a new baby.
Ebony asked Wendy if it's weird, and she said yes. Alana. Alana's friend was mad at her because she didn't ask permission to date her cousin. They hadn't been talking for over a year as a result. According to Wendy, it's ridiculous to ask permission to date a cousin, and Alana should take her friend out for lunch, and it will probably ease the situation. Dana. Dana dated her boyfriend for 5 years, but there was only one problem with the relationship. The boyfriend was cheap. Wendy wasn't sure what she meant by cheap, but he advised Dana to move on if the relationship wasn't working out for her. Jessica. Jessica and her boyfriend dated for 6 years, but she realized that he cheated on her for 2 years after she got pregnant. She wanted to change her son's last name, but Jessica wasn't sure if he'd resent her later in life. It was a tough thing to ask Wendy, and she told Jessica that she understood that she was stuck, but Wendy couldn't give her an answer. Some choices are difficult to bounce back from, especially if they make one morally questionable. 4. Amy. Amy went to a restaurant with a couple of friends and she noticed a good-looking man. She went up to him and told him that he had beautiful hair, and the man said the same thing to her. Amy went back to the restaurant and wrote her number and her name on a napkin and gave it to the man. He was unfortunately sitting with another woman, and Amy was hoping she was a sister or a friend. Amy asked Wendy if her move was too thirsty, and she got a resounding yes from Wendy and her co-hosts. Valerie. Valerie and her boyfriend were invited to a swingers party by a friend, and she asked Wendy if it was okay for them to swing. Valerie was with her boyfriend for about 2 years, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to marry him. Wendy told Valerie that if she wasn't planning on marrying the guy, she shouldn't swing with him. If she wanted to pursue swinging, she should do it in a place where nobody knows her language, and Valerie should be smart about it. Sometimes Wendy's co-hosts ask the dumbest questions, and as we all know, she's never one to hold back. 3. Sally. Sally met a man online, and they were about to meet him for the first time. The man asked Sally to move in with him, and she was considering the option. Wendy asked her where they intended to move, and Sally had no idea. Wendy didn't even answer her question. She told Sally to have a seat. Crystal. Crystal was at the subway with her friend, and she needed to look for her card, which was somewhere in her 2 bags. They both looked for it, but never got it. But Crystal suspected that her friend took the card. She asked Wendy how to approach the situation, and Wendy advised her to let it go because at her age, it wasn't worth it.
Listen, it probably slipped between something. Just chalk it up to it. Slip between. Don't do it. Not over $20, not at our age. Okay. Don't do it.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Olivia. Olivia had recently had a birthday, and her friend of 10 years got her a washcloth and a bath bomb. Yet she didn't even have a bath. She asked Wendy whether such a friend was worth keeping. Wendy advised Olivia to rethink the depth of their relationship, and at 21, she was allowed to make some mistakes. Ideally, no one would intentionally want to piss off their in-laws, but sometimes it gets inevitable when they're all over a couple's business. 2. Tamika. Tamika and her boyfriend were doing great, and her mother-in-law loved her to bits. However, as soon as her fiancé put a ring on it, the monster-in-law came out to play. She started being mean to Tamika, and they had nasty confrontations via text. Tamika asked Wendy to advise her on how she'd handle the situation. Wendy told her it was the perfect time to watch her man. He needed to step to her and manage the case, and the way he'd manage it would determine how he'd handle other issues in their marriage. Angela. Angela had a booty call for about 1 year, and she was finally ready to replace him. However, she needed to break the news cautiously in case she needed to go back to the man. She asked Wendy how she'd tell the guy off without hurting his feelings. Wendy was shocked that people are polite to booty calls nowadays. She told Angela that she should have no attachment to the guy, tell him it's over, and never go back to him. Older couples would love grandchildren, and it bothers them when their children don't marry or have children.
I saved the best for last, but first I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. So if you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it. It really works.
1. Cynthia. Cynthia was in a relationship with her boyfriend for 17 years, and the boyfriend's mother wasn't so happy about it. She needed to let her mother know that she was pleased with the relationship the way that it was, and marriage and kids weren't a priority. Wendy told her that the best person to address the situation was the son, and Cynthia should explain to him how it bothered her. Jackie. Jackie had something bothering her regarding her friend of over 40 years. Before Jackie's father passed on, he told her that he'd slept with her friend. She didn't know whether to confront the friend or pretend she didn't know. Wendy advised her to talk to the friend, tell her that she knows what happened, but maintain their friendship. Sequina. Sequina's 3-day rule required her to visit her boyfriend several times, and he did the same thing. However, her friends thought that she was demanding too much. Wendy told her that if her man didn't mind, her friends should take several seats. Thanks for watching, and have an excellent day.